Hello. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about the green mandarin fish and mandarin fish in general, and why they really are just not a good fit for a tank unless, it's really well established with a really large, healthy copepod population. Um, the mandarin fish, from my personal experience, I had a green mandarin. It died after about 3 months. The only reason I even pulled the trigger on it was because I got the Mandarin for dirt cheap, and it was just too good of an offer to pass up. Um, the problem is that you can buy mandarins for relatively cheap, something in the $15 to $30 range. But the problem that you're going to run into with them is keeping them fed is going to literally run you broke. I spent probably in the neighborhood of about $80 to $100 a month trying to keep this thing fed, and it still wasn't enough. The mandarin fish, you've got several problems there. The first one, which is the obvious one, is that they are very finicky eaters. They only like things like cope pods or whatever, and it's very difficult to keep them fed on cope pods unless you have, say, a 75-gallon or larger tank that's been running for a year or more, and it has a really healthy, stocked up copepod population that can keep perpetuating itself. That's about the only way I could see that you could keep one of these things in captivity. The other thing is that my mandarin actually did learn to eat frozen mice as shrimp. She would eat it. She ate reef frenzy as well. So one might ask, well, if that's the case, then how on earth did she end up dying? Well, what the problem with the mandarin fish is that, quite frankly, um, when it comes to feeding with any saltwater fish, it is a be quick or be dead philosophy. In other words, all the other fish are going to jump in and grab the food before she has a chance to even get it. The mandarin fish is just, it's too slow. It can't, uh, jump up there into the water column and grab things away from the other fish before they get a chance to eat it. As a matter of fact, it even has to fight with like a cleaner shrimp over the stuff. My cleaner shrimp and the mandarin ended up getting in a tug of war a few times. Mandarin actually did win a couple of times, so it was kind of funny to see that. But anyways, it was just one of those situations where um, the only way I could see you keeping a mandarin fish in the recommended 30-gallon minimum tank or larger is if it learns to that your tank is well established. B, it learns to eat other foods such as frozen mysis or reef frenzy or something like that. And C, you have a dedicated tank for mandarin fish. Meaning that they're the only ones, maybe you have like a pair of mandarins in there or something like that with no other fish, because then there aren't going to be other fish or other things running in to grab the food from them before they get a chance to get to it and eat it. So these are some of the reasons why they're considered so difficult, because the fish in and of itself, you know, it actually has some really good qualities, such as it doesn't have any scales, so it's very resistant to ick, more so than just about any other fish. So in that sense, it's actually better and hardier. But it has it has a very fast metabolism, so it's constantly searching for food. Copepods for sure. Mine was constantly going in and around the rock, just hunting constantly. Other than that little bit of time at night when it would, take a nap or go to bed. Um, it was constantly scouring the rocks for food. So they're just they're perpetual eaters. They're very, very slow. So for that reason, they just don't make for a very good aquarium fish. They're really one of those fish that's better suited to the wild. But if you are going to attempt to keep one, I'd say a 75-gallon or larger tank if you want to keep it with other fish, that's been running for at least a year or more with a healthy buildup and well-stocked copepod population that can perpetuate itself. Or if you're wanting to keep them in a smaller tank, you can go ahead and see if check in and see if you can get them to eat frozen food, but then don't put any other fish in there with them, and just kind of dedicate a tank to a couple of mandarins. So that's my personal recommendation on the green mandarin fish. There have been a lot of people who have problems with them, but as far as keeping them fed, and that's why it's not just the copod issue and getting them to eat other food. It's the issue that they can't get to the food fast enough when they're with other fish and shrimps, and even I would say crabs to an extent. Even hermit crabs can sometimes beat them to the punch on food. So, anyways, that's my personal observations of the green mandarin, and thanks for watching.